for being here. I want to keep this fairly informal. I'm going to turn it over in a minute to the Director Charles. I'm going to say a few remarks. But we have with us Sheriff Scott from Franklin County, Sheriff Phelan from Fairfield County, of course Senator Hughes, and the rest of the people in the uniforms you'll hopefully get to know when we're done here. We're going to try to make some people available when we're complete with this, but I just want to say a couple of things. One of the reasons we have both the sheriffs here is because they are indicative of the law enforcement partnerships in the state of Ohio. We've had a 12-month operation going on with Sheriff Phelan. He certainly is a leader among the sheriffs in Ohio and some of the efforts that he has had. You've read about some of those efforts. But what you don't see is behind the scenes the partnerships that Sheriff Phelan has forged with the law enforcement community, both with the Highway Patrol, the police departments, and the federal agencies, has made the quality of life in Fairfield County, which is where I happen to live, much, much better. So we appreciate it. Sheriff Scott is going to probably be talking about one of the partnerships that we're going to be launching in Franklin County, a one-of-a-kind partnership, and it's because of his initiative and his leadership that we're able to do that. And speaking of that, last year for the Ohio State Highway Patrol was an incredible year. 2011's gone. 2012 is a new year. And in the first 6 weeks of this year, we've had some significant success with those partners. So with that, I would like to introduce my boss, who will introduce the governor, as Director Tom Charles. Without his support, these partnerships would not have been possible. So, Director.
I'll be very brief. I have grandchildren, and I'm concerned about drugs coming into Ohio, coming through Ohio. And so a few months back, I said something to the governor about coming out to Home Creek and seeing all the evidence and all the drugs, and we have the task force on the unveils and what have you. And once the governor saw what was going on, he's seen all the interdiction that you troopers have done, the partnerships of saturation patrols down in Cuyahoga County and across the state. He said, hey, we're going to do something about this. Well, here we are going to do something about it. He's committed, as I told you there, he's keeping politics out of the Highway Patrol. He said he's left it to us. The support from behind the scenes of the governor is critical to us. So anyhow, with that, the governor.
Thank you, Tom. Well, a couple things. First of all, I've come to understand that Ohio is a major artery for drug traffickers. Also, it's easy, according to the patrol, for drug dealers to be able to hide in a number of our urban areas. We're just a unique state. But the ability to traffic and to move drugs through our state because of our highway system provides a great opportunity for drug dealers to win the day. So there's a couple things that are going on. First of all, the patrol decided that they were going to really step up drug interdiction. One of the most interesting visits I had was up north. I think it was in Findlay, where I stopped in to see the practices that the troopers are learning in terms of how to spot drug traffickers. A lot of times we see them sitting in between the north and the south lanes, and we think they're in there taking speed, and we think they're in that area just trying to clock people, breaking the laws. And that's one of the things that they do. Obviously, if you have somebody driving at an abnormally high rate of speed, they're focused on it. But by them being able to sit in those cutaways, they have procedures that they use to be able to determine whether somebody is really engaging in drug trafficking. It's pretty darn remarkable the way in which they do it. I've said to both colonels, it's really important that we step this up, and they were, I didn't tell them anything. They wanted to do it. I said it's just great if we can do it. In 2011, the troopers seized nearly 6 million grams of illegal narcotics. Drug seizures were up 13% from the previous 3-year average. In 2011, troopers made over 6,000 drug-related arrests, which represented a 9% increase. And Ohio troopers have already seized more heroin in the first 6 months of 2012 than in all of 2011. It's working. They have some very, very skilled troopers who engage in these interdiction efforts. One of the most successful is a woman. She's, I think, has had some of the most successful busts. So we're always thinking about the kind of things that we can do to help them. And I said to them some time ago, why don't we just let people know that when they come into this state and they're thinking about being drug traffickers or drug dealers, that we need some big signs. And this is an example of what we're going to see on the entranceway to Ohio, and I think it's pretty darn effective. Drug traffickers go to prison, and of course we also ask on the public to keep their eyes open because they see a lot of things at rest stops, they see a lot of things as they're driving on the road. There's a way in which they can call to alert people. So, you know, I think the idea that we're telling them, we know what you're doing, we know you use Ohio as a major artery, and if we catch you, you're going to go to prison, I think is just an important thing to be able to say. Secondly, the reason why this truck is here is, and hopefully we're going to be able to operate this, Senator Hughes is going to introduce legislation at our request, we work with him, to create a 4th-degree felony for people who operate vehicles with concealed compartments. The way in which this truck, who wants to explain exactly how you open the concealed compartment on this truck? Who's the expert? You want to tell us? Come on up here and tell us how this works.
This truck was stopped by troopers. January of 2010, out here on Interstate 71, and it was en route to Akron, Ohio. It's got a complex hidden compartment built into it, which was built with the sole purpose to conceal contraband. It's a very complex compartment. There are several stages involved to open it. They include ignition on, depressing the brake pedal, depressing the emergency brake, hidden switches, and switches that go to the driver's seat. All of those parts of the equation are needed to open and close the compartments on the truck.
Can we demonstrate? Yes, let's demonstrate. Now, why this is important, because this is how they do their trafficking. They move things in these vehicles, and this actually was caught. My understanding is the reason they noticed this is because of the frame that surrounded the truck. And they thought it was suspicious. They pulled it over. They asked the driver to open the secret compartment. He said he didn't know what they were talking about, and they said, well, we're either going to use a blowtorch or you're going to open it. And so he proceeded to open it. Let's see what we did here.